CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
कार्यकर्ताओं ने रात दिन मेहनत की, ये उन कार्यकर्ताओं की जीत है।
I haven't lost. As I said, I haven't lost.
चुनाव के नतीजों की जिम्मेवारी भी पूरी की पूरी मेरी है।
Well, it is the stuff political dreams are made of. The Aam Aadmi Party has steamrolled the BJP and the Congress to win a historic mandate in Delhi. Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us on this special edition of India Business Hour. Aapki Delhi AK-67 has outgunned the BJP and the Congress, and how Aap's landmark victory is our top story tonight. But here's a look at the other headlines that we're tracking this evening. The Aap avalanche buries the BJP. Arvind Kejriwal's party wins 67 out of 70 seats, reducing the BJP to just 3. Even Kiran Bedi bites the dust. The Congress scores a big fat 0. Kejriwal will be sworn in as Chief Minister on the 14th of February. From free water to 24/7 power supply, from 500 new schools to 20 new colleges, to slashing VAT to single window clearances, Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party have many promises to keep. The two discoms that Kejriwal has vowed to go after, Tata Power and Reliance Infra, promise to work with the government to address concerns. Even the markets wave a thumbs up to Aap's victory, snapping a 7-day losing streak. The Sensex gains over 100 points in a volatile session. The Nifty nears 8,600. The Finance Minister is unlikely to offer any major relief on income tax this budget, as the fiscal room remains limited. Minor changes could be on the cards, and tax-free infra bonds could make a comeback, but GAR could be deferred by another 2 years. That's a CNBC TV 18 exclusive. IT industry body NASSCOM does not expect fireworks for the sector in the new financial year, pegs FY16 growth at 12 to 14%, similar to its FY15 expectations of over 13% growth. Realty major DLF moves faster to raise funds and trim its debt, plans to form 2 real estate investment trusts to monetize 28 million square feet of commercial assets. Well, it is almost a clean sweep and the biggest ever victory in Delhi, and the third biggest in the history of state elections. The Aap avalanche has buried the BJP. Arvind Kejriwal and his party have won 67 of the possible 70 seats. The BJP reduced to just 3 seats, and what is worse, even its chief ministerial candidate Kiran Bedi bit the dust from the Krishnanagar constituency, a place where no BJP candidate has lost in the last 22 years. It's been a BJP bastion. For the Congress, the picture cannot be any gloomier. The party has scored a duck for the first time, as it could not win even a single seat. Thousands of Aam Aadmi Party supporters thronging the party office in Patel Nagar. The atmosphere electric, celebrating the party's historic performance. Kejriwal will take oath on the 14th of February. It's not just Valentine's Day, it's exactly 1 year since he resigned as Delhi's chief minister. Speaking to supporters, the victorious Kejriwal thanked his team, and the massive mandate, he says, is scary, but he also assured that the party will live up to its promises.
Very scary. जितना बड़ा बहुमत दिल्ली की जनता ने हमें दिया है, मैं एक ही निवेदन करना चाहूंगा सभी कार्यकर्ताओं से, सभी हमारे एमएलए से, पूरी पार्टी से, जरा सा भी अहंकार मत करना।
What a comeback there for the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal. The BJP may not even get the status of the opposition party. This is ironic. Remember the wrangling that's on between the Congress and the BJP for leader of the opposition. The BJP has not won the 7 seats that are mandatory. The BJP office in Delhi had the sweets ready only to realize that they were in for a rude shock. Prime Minister Modi called Arvind Kejriwal, congratulated him. BJP's chief ministerial candidate Kiran Bedi apologized to her party supporters but also made some bizarre statements saying that she hasn't lost, but the BJP has lost. Meanwhile, for the Congress, this was a defeat of epic proportions. The Congress office completely deserted as the party scored a big fat zero. Its vote share in Delhi has dropped to single digits for the first time. Heads have begun to roll. Ajay Markan, the head of the campaign, has stepped down, and PC Chacko, the Delhi in charge, has also quit. So the Aam Aadmi Party has received a decisive mandate from Delhi, having learned from its 2014 poll performance. This time, in addition to reaching out to the lower and middle income voter, the Aam Aadmi Party manifesto made specific promises to woo the capital's trader community, which has traditionally been a BJP stronghold. Malvika Jain tells you what business can expect from 5 Saal Kejriwal. Jubilant Aam Aadmi Party supporters celebrating the party's historic victory, beating all poll predictions. BJP's chief ministerial candidate Kiran Bedi also had to face defeat in the Krishnanagar constituency, considered to be a safe seat for the party given its strong trader vote bank. Experts say this is a reflection of the AAP strategy to also win over the business community. The Aam Aadmi Party promises to restructure the tax regime, significantly slash the value-added tax rate and reduce the 30-page-long VAT form to a one-pager. The party has also promised to end the extortion and raid racket by the VAT department.
हमें पूरे सिस्टम को सिंप्लीफाई करना है, टैक्स स्ट्रक्चर्स को सिंप्लीफाई करना है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को सिंप्लीफाई करना है, पॉलिसीज को सिंप्लीफाई करना है और प्रोसीजर्स को सिंप्लीफाई करना है.
Kejriwal has also promised a single window clearance system for those wanting to open businesses in Delhi and assured that all transactions will be made online to reduce the interface with the city government. The AAP has also promised to formulate a flexible and fair labour policy and ensure social security for workers in the unorganised sector. To foster entrepreneurship, the AAP manifesto promises setting up of incubation centres and skill development programmes. The party continues to maintain that it will not allow FDI in multi-brand retail. The most contentious promise is to provide 24/7 affordable power supply.
बिजली के दाम फिर से आधे करेंगे. जब तक बिजली कंपनियों का ऑडिट नहीं हो जाता, ऑडिट को हम तुरंत कराएंगे, तब तक बिजली में सब्सिडी देके बिजली के दाम आधे किए जाएंगे और ऑडिट होने के बाद जो ऑडिट के नतीजे आएंगे उसके हिसाब से बिजली के दाम फिक्स किए जाएंगे.
I think what has impacted the Delhi elections is the last 7-8 months nothing changed in Delhi when it was under the Lieutenant Governor's rule, and that may have upset the people. And you know, he's promising cheaper power, access to water. Now we'll have to see how the AAP government is able to deliver those promises.
Clearly we're going to see some populism from this Arvind Kejriwal AAP government in terms of trying to provide cheaper electricity and cheaper water. And the problem with that is that if that is becoming an electoral model that other states follow, then how does BJP counter it? Does it have to be more populist? And so I think that you can paint a somewhat negative picture which could have broader implications. I'm not ready to paint that picture yet.
Making water a legal right, free Wi-Fi across cities and installation of at least 10 lakh CCTV cameras for women's security are some of the other promises which have been made by Team Kejriwal. It will be interesting to see how the new government intends to fund the promises it's made. In New Delhi with Malvika Jain, this is Shireen Bhan. So as the Aam Aadmi Party celebrates, it's needless to say they have many tall promises to keep. Will Kejriwal 2.0 deliver? That is our big question tonight. Joining us to discuss the road ahead for the national capital and the Aam Aadmi Party is Meera Sanyal, former banker with RBS and now member of the Aam Aadmi Party, Sanju Verma, the CEO of Violet Arc Managers and a member of the BJP, A.K. Bhattacharya of the Business Standard, and R. Jagannathan, the editor-in-chief of FirstPost.com. Appreciate all of you joining us here here on the show. Meera Sanyal, congratulations to you, but I'll come to you in just a bit. I want to go across to our Jagannathan first because I want to congratulate you, Jaggi, on getting the call right. You said it on the 28th or 29th of January that the AAP was headed for a victory in Delhi. What gave you the confidence to believe in the resurrection of the Aam Aadmi Party, which was written off post the Lok Sabha polls, especially since this was an election that the BJP fought on the Modi factor?
The basic point was like AAP was holding steady and rising steadily all through the weeks from Delhi onwards right up to the end of January when BJP made a sudden change. Then there was the, I think the error probably, Kiran Bedi coming in at the last minute, and then the poll suddenly started showing a huge divergence between the BJP vote and the Aam Aadmi vote. At that level of divergence, you can only get a landslide. But even that divergence did not really measure the full difference and the scale of the landslide as we know now. I mean, you got about 54% of the vote and 95% of the seats. So the landslide was really a complete tsunami. Yeah?
Well, it is a landslide, Jaggi, but before I get to the other panelists now, what does the Delhi verdict mean for economic policies of the Bharatiya Janata Party? The worry is that this may force the BJP to be more populist than it would like to be. It may force the BJP to review its positions on cutting back, for instance, on subsidies. Is this a legitimate concern, a legitimate fear?
I think it is a legitimate concern for people from the outside, but my guess is that this battle will have to be won inside the BJP and the Sangh. That is, if the Modi reads the right message from this, it means that he has to fast forward his reforms, because as you go forward there will be more such electoral challenges and there could be some more reverses later on. So if he doesn't carry through his agenda now, he will never be able to carry it through. And populism, you know where it got UPA. So he, I think, understands that message. So I think he made a mistake by not speeding it up in the second half of last year. Now I think he himself probably will know it has to be done. The question is how they manage the opposition, the legislation stuck in the Rajya Sabha, all those kind of things. But I think he'll have to get the Sangh Parivar to pipe down, and he'll have to decide that he'll have to push through the agenda in the next 3-4 months, so that by the time we get to the Bihar elections, assuming they're not brought forward, he gets the things done. So, but as I said, this is a debate that they'll have to have within the party. I am optimistic that they will make the right calls this time.
Okay, let me get AKB on this. AKB, Jaggi believes that the Prime Minister is actually going to put his foot on the pedal and try and push the reform agenda forward, because God knows what's going to happen as far as politics is concerned a couple of months down the road. Do you feel as confident as Jaggi that this is not going to force the BJP into some sort of an economic funk? This is not going to push the BJP to review its position on some of the tough reforms that it is hoping to take forward, for instance, significant subsidy rationalization?
Well, I think on the question of subsidy rationalization, he should speed that up, because the faster he ensures the subsidy rationalization through his PAHEL, which is Pratyaksh Hastantarit Labh, which is a different name for direct benefit transfer scheme. If he can speed that up, I have a feeling that he will be achieving the kind of goals that the Aam Aadmi, the people who actually need the subsidies, will get them faster without leakage and without any diversion. So on rationalization of subsidies, I think I see he should step ahead and step up the pace of the reform on that front. On the question of moves such as diluting or reducing the provisions under the Food Security Act or the Narega Act or even the land legislation, my sense is that he will have deep introspection on all the three issues, whether those three can become a big political hot potato for BJP in the elections going forward in the next 1 year or so. So I think on the three issues he will be a little hesitant,
so
but on the subsidy rationalization, I have a feeling he'll go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, subsidy rationalization, he'll go ahead on crucial issues like the Land Ordinance, the Food Security Act, and of course what they intend to do as far as the NREGS is concerned. You believe that there may be some introspection, a little bit of a pullback. Sanju Verma,
yes.
And that is the concern as far as the market goes. When the exit poll results were announced, we actually saw the markets tank by about 500 points in anticipation of an AAP victory. And look what the markets did today. AAP, resounding success, resounding victory, historic mandate, and the markets are up. What do we make of this?
Shireen, first of all, I think the volatility that we've seen in the markets in the last 48 hours, down by 500 points and then, staging a comeback with a vengeance today. I think the markets are not necessarily looking at the Delhi poll outcome in the manner that you and me are. I think market participants are far more savvier, and my personal sense is that the market volatility has a lot to do with the fact that we've had a gravity-defying run. Pre-budget there will be a correction. Don't forget that the volatility index in the last 1 month alone has gone up from something like 15 to about 22 or thereabouts, signifying that there will be bouts of volatility. It's not going to be a linear one-way move.
So is Delhi now, Sanju, a non-event as far as the markets are concerned? Is Delhi now a non-event as far as the markets are concerned?
Yes, because Shireen. Yes, Shireen, while this does not sound, cliched, the fact of the matter is that Delhi accounts for less than or barely 2% of the country's population and less than 3% of the country's GDP. Mind you, Delhi is not a Mumbai. Delhi is not Maharashtra, which accounts, for more than 15% of the country's GDP and 25% of the manufacturing output. So I think anybody in their sane mind would not think that this is a referendum either on how fast forward the reforms process should be or whether Modi should take a breather and pause for a while. It's always clear that in a welfare state like India, there always has to be a tight rope walking between the fact that you need to give in a bit and you need to also pull the strings a bit so that you're not seen as too populist, at the same time you're not seen as too reformist.
Yeah, but the finance minister continues to say politics is the art of the possible. But I'll come back to you, Sanju, in just a second. Let me bring Meera Sanyal in on this conversation. First of all, Meera Sanyal, congratulations on a stunning victory that your party has pulled off in Delhi. The question now is, what happens from here on? I'm quoting to you from your 42-page manifesto where you promise big change without big spending. It's a laundry list of things that you've promised to Delhi, including full statehood, free 700 litres of water, abolish mandatory 10% annual hike in water tariff, electricity bills will be halved, a new power plant for Delhi, free Wi-Fi throughout Delhi, subsidy and incentives for solar energy. You talk about efficient use of money as well as raising revenues. Talk us through what we can expect in terms of innovative revenue mobilization ideas.
So I think a couple of things, Shireen. When we formed this manifesto, it was based on the Delhi dialogue process, which Ashish Khaitan, Adarsh Shastri and myself led. And what we did was, at that time, people had pretty much written off AAP. And we said, all right, let's enter into a dialogue with our key stakeholders, whether or not they are voters. So we went into bastions of the Congress, of the BJP and said, all right, this is not about votes. Let's talk about the problems and what are the solutions. And we engaged with thousands of people, but also with experts in the various fields. The other thing we did is we examined the budget to whatever extent information was in the public domain. And the Delhi government's budget is about 40,000 crores. And the budget of the MCD and the NDMC is about 13,000 crores. That is a massive amount of money. Now, to the extent that we were able to actually dig into some of this, we found big wastages, big leakages, and some kind of very strange prioritization. So to give you an example...
But Meera Sanyal, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but big enough leakages to be able to fulfill the promises that you're making? 500 new schools, 20 new colleges, 1,700 new teachers, recruit 4,000 doctors, 15,000 new paramedics, bring down electricity tariffs by half. Enough leakages to be able to fund all of that?
So let me tell you about the schools. We talk about 500 new schools. There is an existing extant budget for about 200 schools which has not been utilized. I give you an example of the MCD North, which has a budget of 25 crores for cleanliness. This year we had the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. I challenge you to tell me, Shireen, how much of that money has been spent. Not more than 3.8 lakhs. Now, this is a national program of the BJP with the BJP controlling the MCD. So it is actually quite mysterious in terms of how they have prioritized and what they have spent on. The other thing is leakages. Let me give you an example. Once again, the same MCD. You go onto their website. This is information from an RTI, not from the Aam Aadmi Party. The MCD have spent 12 crores and taken 9 years to develop the MCD website. And you know, one of our young IT people were saying, Meera, this should not cost more than 1.2 lakhs and take not more than 6 weeks to develop. So this is the kind of example of things that have been happening. And so when we say, all right, you know, these are the things that we are going to do, we have looked at it and said, yes, over a 5-year period, these things are required. Let me talk, for example, about incubation centers. The city of Bangalore is setting up 2.5 million square feet of incubation space. Today, either in Mumbai or in Delhi, a young entrepreneur has nowhere to go. And you know, in other cities, you might be able to do this in your garage. In Delhi, resident welfare associations do not allow any commercial activity in residences. So where does a young entrepreneur go in what is probably the most entrepreneurial city in India? These are the kind of things that we have looked at and said, all right, how do we make it possible? Because, you know, to be very candid, what we have said is we don't believe that we can create, you know, millions of jobs, but we can empower thousands and thousands of small entrepreneurs. And very much that's what we're focused on.
Jagit, we were talking about the laundry list of promises that the AAP has made in its 42-page manifesto. Arvind Kejriwal this morning admitting himself that it's a scary mandate. But is that perhaps an understatement, you know, given the promises made and given the expectations?
Absolutely. If you get almost all the seats that you've contested, 95% victory rate, then what it means is that the mandate is too humongous and scary, because you have to now fulfill so many different kinds of expectations from people. Because he did not win from only one class. He won across classes, from the business class to the baniyas to the lower middle to middle income and the upper income. In fact, he won all 10 seats in the upper income areas. So if so many guys have so much riding on you, it is unlikely that you can satisfy everybody. So I think anger will set in after 6 months or a year. He needs to look for innovative solutions. But Kejriwal 1.0 was all about anti-business and all kinds of things.
But AKB, let me put that question to you now as far as the execution challenge is concerned. And Team Modi is facing an execution challenge at this point in time. And the AAP is not known for its administrative skills. How concerned are you about the execution challenge and being able to deliver on the mandate?
Well, you know, it does scare me also. Because I think the promises he made, the AAP party, are quite ambitious promises. The first challenge he will face is on the question of jurisdiction. And as you know, Delhi is a very peculiar state. It has got no control over the corporations that it runs. It has got no control over the land it owns. It has got no control over the police it has. So anything that he wants to do, he is likely to come in confrontation with the central government. As a matter of fact, even Delhi's financial powers can often be curtailed or overridden by the central diktat. So I think the first battle and challenge would be a jurisdictional issue. Number two, he will have a problem in terms of, you know, his resources will not be a problem. Delhi is a rich state. And if he can move ahead on GST and he can endorse his GST, and since Delhi is a consumption state and in a destination-based tax system, Delhi will hugely benefit from there. So in my view, if he can really move ahead on GST and actually implement his promise of reducing the VAT rate and making Delhi having the most competitive VAT rate, it will really make Delhi's resource position even better, and the business situation
Let me put that to Meena Sandhya. Let me put that to Meena Meena Sanyal, sir. Meena Sanyal, you made the VAT promise in your manifesto. You promised to not just make it simpler, but you've also promised to bring the rates down. A.K. Bhattacharya saying that make Delhi the most competitive, even as far as the GST is concerned. The draft bill is now available for everybody to see. Do you support the government's endeavour as far as the GST is concerned? Take us through your specifics on that.
So absolutely we do, and I think Mr. Bhattacharya is completely right. You know, Delhi has no manufacturing to speak of, and it certainly doesn't have much agriculture to speak of. It has always been a very, very big trading and retail hub, and actually at the moment, you know, you're squeezing traders dry. We've had numerous discussions as part of the Delhi dialogue with small businessmen and with traders, and they have been a very big part of our support base. Because in our 49 days, Shireen, it was absolutely clear. We stopped the VAT raid Raj, as it was called. And, you know, the figures are very clear. In that period, in that first quarter, we gained more VAT by an amount of about 1,000 crores as compared to the previous year. So it's, you know, as Arvind says, aap janta ko gale se laga lo, aap vyapariyon ko gale se laga lo, and they return it in kind, because Delhi is a very, very entrepreneurial place. I mean, people understand business like nowhere else. So this is something that we have very consciously done.
I'll come back to you. And Sanju Verma, just taking that point forward, this is a conscious strategic decision of the Aam Aadmi Party to woo the business community. This is Kejriwal 2.0.
Shireen, you know, without wanting to sound like a bunch of sour grapes, while I concede that it's been a spectacular victory for AAP, and congratulations to Meera as well on that. The point is that, there is a famous saying that you only get the government that you deserve. And without wanting to sound offensive, the fact of the matter is I myself have gone through the AAP manifesto. I wouldn't be uncharitable to call it bogus. But if I just take two of their big promises, they're absolutely impractical and non-deliverable. You know, first of all, the 50% cut in electricity tariffs that they've proposed. Let me put it on record and say that for the first 206 units that a Delhiite consumes, he's charged rupees 3.90 per unit. It's only beyond the 206 units that a Delhiite consumes that he's charged 5.80 rupees per unit. And mind you, the cost, the average cost of generating and distributing power in Delhi currently is 5.71 rupees. And this is all publicly documented, which means that your cost of generation is 5 rupees 71 paise, but for the first 206 units, you are actually giving power to Delhiites at the cost of 3 rupees 90 paise. In other words, the power generation and distribution companies are subsidizing the taxpayers, subsidizing perhaps the rich for a good cause, subsidizing the poor for a good cause. I stand corrected. But, the fact of the matter is that power distribution companies are sitting on losses of 11,000 crore, and if electricity tariffs were to be brought down, as AAP claims, by 50%, there will be an additional loss of 5,000 crores. Who's going to pay for that? These are freebies.
Well, for now, Arvind Kejriwal has said that he is going to play Santa Claus. The government is going to provide the subsidy till a CAG audit is conducted, until the electricity discoms are actually audited. But I don't want to go down that discussion because we're completely out of time here. A.K. Bhattacharya, what is your headline going to be?
Shireen, one more point.
Sanju, I'm out of time. I'm going to give all of you 10 seconds. AKB, your headline before I get the headline from the other two.
Well, AAP wins landslide victory, but should eschew populism.
All right.
Not the headline, Shireen, but just for
it's a wordy headline. Sanju Verma, 10 seconds to you.
Shireen, I will just come to specifics. They promised free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi is not about connecting a computer hardware to a server or a cable device. Free Wi-Fi can only be achieved if spectrum and broadband are available at a certain bandwidth.
I get that, and that's the same issue facing Digital India as well, Sanju. I get that is the same issue. That is the same issue facing Digital India. Sanju, I'm completely out of time.
You cannot have every...
I get that. And that's exactly what we've been discussing, is that the promises made by the AAP manifesto are going to be a tall ask to deliver on. Meena Sanyal, the final word to you. How are you going to ensure that you deliver on the promise that you've made to the people of Delhi? They gave you a second chance. You've had a phenomenal comeback, but they're not going to be forgiving the next time around.
And so here's the point, Shireen. You know, voters don't make their decision on the basis of the cynical panelists you have on TV debates. They know that what we said in the last 49 days we delivered. Jo kaha, so kiya. Ab jo keh rahe hain, wo bhi karke dikhayenge. Don't worry, madam. We have done our homework and we will deliver. You can rest assured. Your markets will go up. You have no reason for concern.
All right, Meera Sanyal, Sanju Verma, A.K. Bhattacharya, R. Jagannathan. Sanju, we're completely out of time. I'm afraid I am going to have to close this panel discussion. Thank you very much for joining us. And as they say, only time will tell. And of course, we will keep you updated on all the promises that the Aam Aadmi Party has made for Delhi and whether they deliver on them or not.